speaking about Operation Overlord, or more widely known as Normandy, D-Day, that happened on December 6, 1944. The invasion of Normandy was the assault of the Allies going across the English Channel onto the beaches of France to take over Germany and end the war. There were hundreds of landing craft to drop off men and supplies. The Allies controlled the sky and would be fighting from above as well. But I would like to tell you about the 82nd Airborne, who landed in the early morning hours of D-Day. I've always been interested in Normandy, but I wanted to learn more about the 82nd Airborne. And I learned that a member of our church was from the 82nd Airborne. And he died in 1999, the year before I was born. I spoke with his wife, Aline, one evening, and she gave me a lot of information during our 2-hour interview. During World War II, Lloyd joined the Army and decided to become a paratrooper because it paid more money. And he and 7 other men from Missouri decided to join the paratroopers too, but they all dropped out along the way. And he was the only one from the 7 to complete training and become a member of the 82nd Airborne. At 2 a.m., the first wave of paratroopers came in to set flares down to signal planes to know where to drop off men and supplies. Lloyd went in at 3 a.m. as a member of the second wave. Many were shot on the way down, which is against the Geneva Convention. Lloyd was shot on the 6th day there and sent to England for medical care. He was later shot again in Holland and got 2 Purple Hearts for those injuries. The soldiers encountered lots of problems during the invasion, such as hedgerows, which are big mounds of dirt with big hedge trees and really thick brush, which made it almost impossible to get through without a tank or a bazooka. The Allies also had gliders, which were pulled by planes and were let go to fly men and supplies to the ground. But many were destroyed by the hedgerows. The fields were so small they'd run into the hedgerows and break apart, and many were killed. The fields also had many mines, such as anti-tank mines, anti-personnel mines, and a mine the soldiers called the Bouncing Betty. When they'd step on it and they'd lift their foot, it'd bounce up and explode. Many lost their feet and legs. One way the soldiers knew that there were not mines in the field was if there was cows in the field and they didn't explode, they knew it was safe to go in. Another danger for the soldiers was flooded fields. The Germans flooded the fields so the paratroopers would drown carrying 100-pound packs on their backs when they'd land in it. Meeting up with fellow soldiers was also a problem because it was dark and they couldn't tell if they were German or American. But the Army bought a bunch of crickets called clickers, and if an American heard something, they'd click once, and if an American heard that click, he'd click twice, so they'd know it's an American. The town of St. Mary-Calais was vital to the Americans, and the first town taken over by the 82nd Airborne. Was Lloyd's division. One of the men Lloyd knew, his parachute got stuck on the steeple and he was shot on the way down. And he acted like he was dead because he knew he'd be killed otherwise. A movie was made later called The Longest Day in a Movie, and it showed this man and that Lloyd knew. When the Americans took over St. Mary-Calais, they were greeted with cheers and celebration. This was the first of many towns to be liberated. But I'm thankful to have the opportunity to visit with Lloyd's wife, even though I never knew him myself. He's one of the many that fought for the freedoms we enjoy today. Those are the many. They are dying off at such a fast rate. If you get a chance to talk to one, I encourage you to do so. It will be worth your time. Here's some pictures I'd like to share with you. This is about where there's Utah, and he landed somewhere around in there. These are some medals. Like that's one of his Purple Hearts. That's his other. That's a picture of him. And that's a bunch of parachutes. That's me and Aline. You see? That's about, he landed somewhere in there. And that's some of his medals, like that's a pocket knife, a watch, and a bullet. There's some paratroopers, and that's some of his other medals. Is there any questions? Yes?
So this battle would have ended the war.
What?
So this would have ended the war, right?
Well, we were going to Germany to take over Germany, but Hitler killed himself, so that ended the war. Any more questions?